Good morning. My name is Ira Nathan. I'm a volunteer with AARP Nebraska, and I'm also a member of the West Omaha Community Action Team. We'd like to welcome you to our event today called Be Red Cross Ready Older Adults Caregivers. You know, disasters can strike at any time, and are you prepared? So I'm very interested in hearing this presentation. It's my pleasure to introduce Shanie Bockmann. She'll be giving this presentation. Shanie is a disaster program specialist in the Western Nebraska area. She's been with the Red Cross 7 months. Shanie has received a psychology and sociology degree from Nebraska Wesleyan University, and she spent her entire career in social work and volunteering for nonprofit agencies. She's worked at the Nebraska Health and Human Services in the Protection and Safety Services and at the Boys Town Shelter. She's married, has 2 children, and I'm looking forward to her presentation. So welcome, Shanie.
Thank you, Ira. Very much appreciate this opportunity to present on disaster preparedness for older adults rather, and having this opportunity with AARP. So thank you very much. All right. Give me just one moment. I apologize, and I will be ready to go. Oh, I'm sorry. Slight technical difficulty. I will. Okay. Like I said, thank you very much for this opportunity to be with you today. We are going to learn a little bit about disaster and emergency preparedness for older adults. A disaster or emergency that can affect, a disaster or emergency can affect your daily life at any time, sometimes without warning. Thankfully, there are things that you can do to be prepared, respond safely, and help speed your recovery. This presentation is designed to give you some practical tips about how to plan and prepare for your needs in a disaster or emergency. No 2 people are the same, and today we will help you assess your abilities and potential conditions you may need to consider in the event of a disaster. You'll also be provided with key actions and steps to take before, during, and after a disaster or emergency. Older adults are assets in the community and will often be looked to for their wisdom and the unique gifts they can offer in a disaster. I very much hope you see yourself as such and are prepared to be useful in if an emergency occurs. This guide will help you to be prepared and ready before and during such an event. Okay, so throughout this presentation, we'll discuss specific actions you can take before, during, and after. We will discuss actions to take before so you can prepare and get ready now. Actions to take during an emergency or disaster so you can know how to respond. And actions for after a disaster or emergency so you will know how to begin your recovery. Next slide, please. Great. Let's begin by discussing the major actions you can take now to prepare for a disaster or emergency. We'll go into each of these in more detail in the upcoming slides. First of all, we want you to get informed. Learn about your area, the most likely emergencies that could happen there, and the resources available to you. Assess your needs. Consider your individual needs, assess what resources are immediately available to you, and what you would need in the event of an emergency. Build your support network, identify helpers and supports in your life, and discuss a plan together. Develop your plan. Think through what would you do if an emergency occurs by evacuating or sheltering in place, and how to protect yourself and your property in each instance. We would want you to, it's important to create a communication plan to make sure that everyone in your support network knows your plans and how to be contacted, how to contact you in the event of an emergency. Gather your supplies that you'll need, assemble an emergency kit with general and personalized items for you and everyone in your household, and prepare the documents you'll need. Locate, gather, and copy all important personal and medical documents and keep them somewhere safe. Let's go over each of these important actions in more detail. Before let's first discuss how you can become more informed by identifying likely emergencies that would happen in your community. For example, in the Nebraska-Iowa region, we would be more likely to experience tornadoes, severe thunderstorms, or flooding. You would want to learn about your community and housing response plans. Find out about your community's guidance, response plans, evacuation routes, and all available resources for preparing and responding to disasters. If you live in housing such as an apartment building or an assisted living residence, find out about the management's guidance and plans to prepare and respond to disasters or emergencies. You would want to sign up for alerts and warnings. Learn how to receive national and local alerts and warnings, and understand the meaning of a watch and a warning, and learn the actions you'll take for disasters that are likely in your area. Get trained. Learn first aid, CPR, and the response skills for local disasters that may occur. For most disasters, there are specific actions you can take to help protect yourself from the impact of the disaster. For example, the guidance for a tornado is to gather in a basement, storm cellar, or interior room of the lowest floor where there are no windows. In addition to the basic guidance, there might be alternate actions. If you're in bed, stay in bed and cover yourself to protect yourself from falling debris. Or if you're in a wheelchair, lock its wheels and cover to protect yourself from falling debris. Next, let's discuss ways to assess your needs. Understand your medical, physical, and cognitive needs may affect your ability to respond to a disaster or emergency. Think about how you would respond. Consider needs you may have if the power went out, if you had to stay home for 2 weeks or more, or if you had to quickly evacuate your home or community. Take an inventory of items like assistive devices you rely on at home and you would need to take with you if you evacuated. Include the model information. List all items that require electricity, such as refrigerated medicines, a CPAP device, or power wheelchair. List all devices to take with you in an evacuation, and consider lightweight or portable alternatives where possible, and plan for battery or generator backup for all items and where to go if these power sources won't last for an extended power outage. Next, we'll discuss how you can build your support network. Your support network contains all of the people that can help you during and after an emergency. This includes family members, caregivers, neighbors, and other loved ones who can help you. You want people close by as well as out-of-town contacts in your circle of support. Identify helpers. Include family, friends, neighbors, caregivers, and care providers to help build your network and help you develop and support your plan. Meet with your helpers to plan together. Talk about what kind of help you'll need and how your supports can assist you. You may also be able to help others too. Finally, make a contact information list for your helpers and plan how you'll communicate regularly during a disaster and when some communications may be disrupted. Now let's discuss how you can develop your plan for disasters and emergencies. Plan for local disasters. Consider all potential disasters in your area that can affect you, including home fires, natural disasters, and power outages. Plan for the actions you'll take for each. Plan to stay or go. Plan for disasters where you'll need to stay home for at least 2 weeks or evacuate. Consider what you'll need in different types of disasters. Plan for help to stay in your home. If you are going to plan to stay put, you want to plan on how you'll meet your needs if caregivers or care providers aren't able to come to your home, and or if you can't get access rather to essential medical and community services. You may need to plan to evacuate before a disaster if possible to maintain access to these supports, or identify a nearby friend or neighbor who can learn how to help you, and then help you to evacuate. If you'll need help evacuating or have medical devices that require power, plan for help. Find out if there are local registries and sign up so local responders will be aware of your needs. There are more ways to develop your plan on the next slide. Assess your power needs. If you require power to operate medical devices or keep medicines cold, talk with your care providers and utility company to make a backup power plan. Learn how to turn off the water, gas, and electricity supply to your home. If your gas is turned off, only a gas utility professional may turn it back on. Prepare for home fires. Make sure you have smoke alarms, carbon monoxide detectors on every floor of your home, inside bedrooms, and outside of sleeping areas. Know 2 ways out of every room and the assistance you may need to evacuate safely. There are more ways to develop your plan on the next slide. Know your property or renter's insurance. Make sure you have disaster-specific coverage for your area and the amount of coverage is enough for you. Typically, homeowner insurance does not cover flooding or earthquakes, and these disasters may require separate policies. Protect your property. You may be able to strengthen your home and create protection against disasters such as flood or earthquake. Consult a trained professional and consider ways to protect your property from disasters in your area. Review, practice, and refresh your support network, your plan, your supplies, and your documents at least twice a year. Now let's discuss how to create a communication plan. Share your plan and contact information with your support network. Plan more than one way to get in touch in case the disaster disrupts power, phone networks, or internet access. Identify someone local to help with communication to local officials such as first responders, doctors, or building managers. Identify someone outside your local area who may be able to assist with communication when local access is disrupted. Learn how to use alternative communication methods. If available, use mobile phones to send texts, internet for emails, or phone services. Write down phone numbers for emergency services. Don't rely on the contacts in your mobile devices. You'll want to know those phone numbers and have them written down for utilities, service providers, medical providers, veterinarians, insurance companies, building or homeowner association managers, home repair professionals, and other service providers. Next, we'll talk about the supplies you'll need. Prepare emergency supplies to stay at home and a portable kit for supplies for evacuation. Include basics such as food and water, first aid kit, flashlight, whistle, cash, a change of clothes, and sturdy shoes. Make sure you have phone chargers, batteries, battery backup plans for all medical devices. There is a complete list of basic items and personalized items you may require to gather your supplies on the Red Cross website. I'll discuss that again at the end, but you'll find most of these items are available in your home and won't require purchasing. Okay, personalizing your kit to address medical and personal needs. You'll want to prepare a backup supply of medication for at least 30 days or more if possible. Include additional items such as extra pair of prescription eyewear, medical devices, or any assistive devices such as a cane or other comfort items. Gather enough information, items for yourself and everyone in your household. Include pets and service animals for at least 2 weeks for staying at home. Have a lightweight kit for at least 3 days for an evacuation and supplies for at least 24 hours if you have a car. Next, we'll discuss how to prepare the documents you'll need. You'll want to locate important documents, copy or scan documents, including household identification, such as ID, Social Security card, driver's license, marriage license, financial and legal deeds, loans, credit cards, and medical. To create a complete list of documents to save, go to redcross.org/older adults for the FEMA Emergency Financial First Aid Kit. To see a complete list of those documents, go to that Red Cross website, which like I said, is redcross.org/older adults. Take the time to learn more about financial preparedness. Gather medical information. Keep an up-to-date list of your conditions, allergies, medications, and dosages, doctors, caregivers, and health insurance cards. Keep and share a contact list of people in your support network. Keep a copy of your plans and safeguard your documents by consider keeping these paper documents in a waterproof box or safe. Store electronic copies in a password-protected format in a secure cloud-based file or a removable flash drive or with a trusted family member. Next slide. There are some concrete things you can do during an emergency or disaster that will help you stay safe, and we'll discuss those here. Stay informed. Monitor TV, radio, emergency alerts for disaster watches and warnings. If there is a watch issued, review your plan for what disaster and make any necessary changes in your activities to make sure you can quickly get to a safe place and can protect yourself. If there's a warning issued, act immediately to follow your plan for that disaster. Know how to take action to protect yourself. If there are emergency dangers, use the response skills you've learned to protect yourself during that disaster. Stay or go. Be ready to stay at home or leave right away in case you need to evacuate. Know you'll decide whether to stay or go, including who will help you to decide. If the power is out for an extended time or you don't have adequate air conditioning in a heat wave or adequate heat during extreme cold, consider evacuating to an appropriate location. Locate public shelters. Relief organizations like the American Red Cross may open shelters if a disaster affects a large number of people or if the emergency is expected to last several days. Be prepared to go to a shelter if your area is without electrical power. Police or other local officials tell you to evacuate, or your home's been severely damaged. Ask for help and tell people what you need. Now let's move on and discuss what protective actions you can take after an emergency or response to help you stay safe. Recovery can take longer than expected, but there are things to do and keep in mind during your recovery that will hopefully make it go more smoothly. Return home safely. Monitor news from authorities and only return home when authorities say it's safe to do so. Report broken gas, sewer, or water lines and loose or dangling power wires to your local municipality. Work with trusted sources. Seek out resources and support from trusted sources such as the Red Cross and FEMA. Be aware of scams and take caution when sharing any personal information. Managing property damage. If there's evidence of structural damage to your home, get an assessment by a trained inspector before you go back in. Next slide. If there's an extended power outage, throw out food that may have been above 40 degrees for 2 hours or more. When in doubt, throw it out. Be aware of the risk of electrocution. If there's water in the home, do not go in until you're sure the power is off at the main switch. And only use a generator outdoors and away from windows. You want to avoid the risk of carbon monoxide poisoning. Make sure your CO detectors have backup battery. Next slide. Document any property damage and contact your insurance to file a claim. If you're clearing debris or cleaning, follow safety precautions, wear protective clothing, and always work with someone for safety. Lean on your support network to help you recover. Finally, here are some tips for caregivers and the members of your support network. Understand what you may be expected and required to do to assist someone you support, including helping to develop their plan, prepare their disaster supplies and documents, sign them up for local registries, support their evacuation, etc. Any special needs or accommodations for evacuation or medical equipment, how to get downstairs if they can't use an elevator or out the window. And ensure you've received training in first aid and CPR, how to use or operate their assistive devices or medical equipment, and how to support their personal care needs. Next slide. Know how to teach others to communicate effectively with the person you care for, who may require hearing, visual, speech, and other communication adaptations. Know how to provide additional emotional and behavioral support, especially to help a person living with dementia or active mental health issues. Prepare a to-go kit. Have a current picture of the person you're caring for in case you get separated, and a copy of their essential medical and treatment information to assess the right care. It may be helpful to discuss getting the person you support a personal or medical ID bracelet, phone numbers, or next of kin, medication, glasses, CPAP, dentures, etc. And lastly, the Red Cross Emergency app is free, and it is an excellent resource available to you on your cellular device and will help to give you updates and alert you to severe weather and emergencies. I want to thank you. There is a lot of stuff to remember, and it's common to feel overwhelmed. Luckily, all these resources and more are available on the Red Cross website. Again, I want to tell you that website is redcross.org/prepare or redcross.org/older adults for you to look into further. The concept of preparedness can be overwhelming to many, but so many of these things needed to be prepared are already in your home. It's just a matter of collecting them. Take a little bit of time each day or week, and it will add up in the long run. Be sure to have these conversations with the people in your support network and make sure everyone is on the same page about what to do if an emergency or a disaster does occur before it happens. These tools will hopefully help you to be more prepared if disaster were to occur and recover more quickly afterwards. Additionally, talking to others will inspire them to make their own plans and discuss, them with their network, which in turn will help your community at large to become safer. Lastly, I want to thank you for this opportunity to present information about disaster preparedness and to have this platform with the AARP.
Shanie, thank you so much. It was a wonderful presentation, and you've motivated me to develop my plan to be Red Cross ready. Thank you so much.
Oh, great. That's great to hear, Ira.
Let me ask a couple questions if I could. So where can someone find information or resources for these to-go kits?
There is, yeah, I'm so glad that you asked that. There is a very detailed and specific checklist on that the website that I mentioned. It's that www.redcross.org/older adults, and it gives you a very specific checklist that can tell you exactly what you would want to have, both for your to-go kit as well as your evacuation kit.
Very good. So let's say I'm in a injury. I have an injury. How do I make sure that my family knows the location and status of where I'm at?
Oh, yes, that's also a great question. We recommend that people not only, I mentioned this in the presentation, but it's so important to have the information as far as contacts and those listed, not only in your phone or your electronic devices, but also a written copy. And we have on our website downloadable emergency contact cards that you can actually fill out and put in your purse or wallet or with your other important documents. And those specifically outline the ways to get in touch with people, emergency contacts and otherwise, and how they can get in touch with you if such an emergency or disaster were to occur.
Okay, thank you. Well, on behalf of AARP Nebraska, Shanie, we can't thank you enough for this wonderful presentation. And we thank all the audience that have joined us today. And we want to mention that AARP also has very useful information for caregivers. Just check out the website aarp.org/caregiving. If you enjoyed our program, which I know I did, please like it and share it with a friend because we want to really share this information with everyone because we want to be Red Cross ready. Shanie, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you, AARP, and everybody that took the time to listen to the presentation. We want you to stay safe.